This wasn't a war to liberate anyone. This was a war of conquest. And most importantly, this war was not a diversion, as a lot of the mainstream Democrats describe it, from the war on terror. It's the embodiment of the war on terror, which is actually a war of terror against the people of this planet for greater empire.
I think the most immediate purpose is oil, I have no question in my mind, but the more long-term issue is the strategic. Control of the region of the Persian Gulf area that substantial interests of the United States as an empire and any other potential imperial tendency by China or Russia or Europe as potentially. So United States is positioning itself in a place that can have global control.
The problem is that empires, whether it's the British or the French or the Germans in the 19th and 20th centuries, or the American empire before it became a global empire, always act in their own interests. That's the only reason they're there. It's in their own interests. It's not to do the good. It's not to do a war of good versus evil. It's a war of national or imperial self-interest. That is why they are there. And the reason why the whole region is dotted with military bases, and you have the largest foreign base of the United States, the Al Udeid base in Qatar, a tiny principality. That's where you have it. Why? Because of the oil. Now, I don't think the war in Iraq was exclusively about oil, but oil is ever present in the discussions. And if you read these memoirs dictated by Paul O'Neill to Ron Suskind, which have been published recently, they are very revealing, saying that the plan to take Iraq predated 9/11 and was discussed within the first 3 weeks of the Bush administration being in office, including how they would divvy out the oil. Now, this is O'Neill talking. This is not some conspiracy theorist in cyberspace.